Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest Volume 2 from Hiro Mashima and Atsuo Ueda, who has now taken over the artwork, while Mashima of course continues the story. And with the first volume, we were reintroduced to our favorite cast of characters and learned that they are undertaking the 100 Years Quest, which involves them traveling to the northern continent of Giltina and sealing away the powers of the 5 dragon gods. So, we met the water dragon god, Merkphobia, and learned that he's really not a bad guy, but has already had his powers stolen by the white mage, who, you find out here, is the, I wouldn't say split personality, but the other half of Toka. Toka, right here, is this sweet young girl who joined the Fairy Tail Guild looking for Natsu, but she has an evil persona or alter ego known as the White Mage who wants to steal everyone's power. And then we also met a new villainous faction known as the Diabolos Guild, who are a bunch of dragon eaters. In particular, these three up here, Kyria, Scullion, and Mad Mole. And you also see on this cover, we might as well mention it, up top, Brandish, who returns in this volume, helping out Lucy. So it's always good to see Brandish. I really enjoyed her character from the original series. But anyway, let's get right to it. We got Natsu and Happy on the cover, ready to do battle. And that's exactly what happens, because Merkphobia appeared at the end and basically said his powers were stolen by the White Mage. And hearing that, Diabolos knows that they're weak, so they can defeat them. And they get ready for a great battle here. So, again, because he's the water dragon god, they were underwater for a brief period of time. There was this funny scene in the first volume when they had to take this potion, which looked like poison, but it allowed them to breathe underwater, and the citizens turned into fish. And that's just an excuse to get all the ladies in bikinis, of course. But again, with the introduction of Kyria, and also this chick right here, Caramille, every female character in Fairy Tail is very attractive, okay? That goes without saying. So, everyone starts fighting. Natsu goes up against, well, he starts fighting Scullion at first, but appears that he can't do any damage because of his ash powers, his ash magic. So, Gray decides to take him on. Urza decides to fight Kyria because she wields swords as well. And they get all the battle's ready to go. And Kyria, she's crazy, man. Look at the face she's making. The sound of blades clashing. It's so thrilling. I'm just trembling with excitement. And look at her. She's like blushing and shit. And Mad Mole, I love his little thing. Anytime he says something, let us have a fine battle. Cha! Natsu, I'm burning to go. Cha! I'm all fired up. Cha! So they start fighting. And Mad Mole's ability is that he has armor. Right? So Natsu does Demolishing Strike. And it doesn't phase him. In fact, Natsu's hand starts bleeding. No effect. Cha! The scales of the armored dragon cannot be harmed. Cha! And in their battle, Natsu goes soaring to a boat, to Diabolos' boat, as a matter of fact. And of course, he has motion sickness. But Natsu's questioning why does it affect Mad Mole. Because, of course, the early dragon slayers have this motion sickness. But it doesn't work on Mad Mole. So we get this excellent battle with Urza and Kyria with all these glorious shots. But what happens is Kyria uses her blade to cut out the power of Urza, cut out her strength. And like you see this attack, she slices and it doesn't even touch Urza, shockwave, and then she starts blushing. Just a second, why am I dressed like this? I'm in nothing but a swimsuit. And they're like, well, why is Urza acting like this? What's the matter with her? Someone help me, please don't kill me. And that's nothing like how Urza normally acts, right? But that's because with Kyria's power, she basically cut Urza's power and her strength away from her. So now she's this weakling begging for her life. And she gets on her hands and knees and begs. And again, you get this submission shot. Like, my goodness, dude. Look at Kyria. And look at Urza. So, yeah, that's what she says. She's severed her very strength. And, oh, look how sweet. Juvia and Gray. So sweet. So, with that, Urza is begging for forgiveness. And everyone's just looking at her like, Urza-san, why are you doing that? Wendy's trying to help. but is no match. We get Carla transforms into her human cat girl form, and even Lucy trying to help, but it does nothing. So they're all defeated, battered, and bruised, and Kyria takes her leave. So it cuts over here to Gray battling Skullion. He's doing all his ice abilities, and it has no effect because this dude turns everything to ash. And then we get this awesome moment where Gray turns into his demon form. Long Sword of Ice Demon Zero! Named after his father, Absolute Zero, right? Silver. So this actually affects Skullion. He's like, whoa, I will turn it to ash. And he's doing this crazy move, Corpse Dragon's Utter Ash, and everything's just shaking. And then Gray, once again, does his demon transformation. Silver! Names his move right after his father. I love it, dude. And he's going to freeze the ash, so they're doing all their power-ups. And Skullion is able to turn Gray into ash. Black ash. What's happening? And he disappears. So Diabolos has won. I mean, Natsu's, he's got his motion sickness. He can't do anything. All these guys are all cut up. They can't do anything. Mercphobia, she calls him Sujin Sama. Sujin means water god. And Sama, that's just the honorific. And again, look at Kyria. My goodness. So Skullion, all too easy. And then it cuts back here. And, well, Gagio, with his detective outfit, he's trying to get to the bottom of Toka. And then we have Juvia, looking for Gray Sama. And then Jalal, who was going around, he met with Sabretooth, he met with Blue Pegasus. I believe it was Kagura, actually, at the end of Volume 1, who said that Toka was seen in Fairy Tail. So Jalal's making his way there and says, I finally found you, Toka, the White Mage! And as he does that, it starts raining. And Jalal's trying to stop her. But, I'm getting ahead of myself, we have an ally coming to Toka's aid, and that is Loxus. And he says, don't touch her, because she's part of the Fairy Tail Guild now, and what business do you even have here, Jalal? And Jalal says, with good reason, she just joined. What do you mean she's your family already? Which that isn't the Fairy Tail Creed, anyone who joins the Guild is essentially part of their family, and, they protect everyone. But Jalal, she just got here. Why are you doing this? And then Loxus plays this game like, oh, you were a villain once. How about that? And they get this standoff. I've decided to protect the people of my guild. Look at this, dude. Are we going to get Loxus versus Jalal? Holy crap, man. Can you imagine? They're going to destroy Magnolia if that happens. So back to Skullion's ship here. They're looking for the White Mage because we learned that Mercphobia lost his powers. And the White Mage, Toka, not this sweet girl, but the White Mage who's inside her, stole the powers and is trying to steal other powers, of course. And he says, why do you have that thing around? And you see she's like holding a leash. Oh, this? And she has Urza as her pet. Like, what, dude? And all these cut marks on her. And poor Urza. And I don't know, man. I mean, I get it's hot, right? But seeing Urza like this is like, no, that's not what happens to Urza. Urza is always tough, and I get she stole away her powers or whatever, or cut them away. But this just feels weird, man. Seeing Urza like this, it's just there's nothing. It's never happened before, but I guess there's the first for everything. So she takes Urza down here and shows that they have Natsu and Wendy captured, and of course Wendy's a Dragon Slayer as well, so they have the motion sickness on the boat. They can't do anything, and Kyria is just mocking them all. And that's it. So it cuts over here, because they don't know where Carla, Happy, Lucy, or Gray is. And it turns out that Lucy is on this boat, and looking for her friends. And she has Happy and Carla with her as well, and they're basically in the sky flying around to look for the ship. And Lucy's got to do what she has to do. And they come back, and they say, there's a ship that way, let's follow it. And Lucy sees another woman in a boat who has a very small Gray and hands it over. She says, I happen to be passing by. He looked like this. He looked like he was in trouble, so I shrunk him. And Lucy's looking at her. It's Brandish! Oh my god! Brandish is on vacation on her boat with her drink and her sunglasses. And she just happened to find Gray, so she shrunk him and said, I'll reunite Gray with Lucy, right? So, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm on vacation, and you look to me like you're in trouble as usual. So, they talk more about Alvarez, what happened after the war, and how Agiel became the king, and he has his retainers as his father, Yagiel and Jacob, which I thought Jacob died, but I guess he's still alive. He's his retainer. We have this one, which what? Demaria lives quietly in the fields now. Oh, is it going to focus? She says she hasn't enjoyed fighting since then. Hard to believe. That is very hard to believe because Demaria was like ruthless, trying to kill everyone, and now she's working in the field? Oh, that's so sweet though. But kind of a sharp change of character, I suppose. And then Invel and Neinhard are thrown into jail. I thought Neinhard died. And Arcade, I thought he died too. Didn't Zareth kill him? But okay. And they were all killed, right? Irene, Bloodman, Wall, and God Serene are all dead. And then her grandpa, that's August, he sacrificed himself. So we get some recap from the last arc. And Brandish also says she is looking for Aquarius's key, which is on this continent, on Giltina. And if you remember in the first volume of 100 Years Quest, that is, Virgo had said that she senses a reunion at hand. So Brandish is looking for Aquarius, Lucy's looking for Aquarius, and they hope to see each other again. And she gives the small gray back to Lucy, right? So Lucy says, turn Gray back to normal. And turns him back to normal, and Gray falls on top of Lucy. And then Juvia's twitching. What's wrong, Juvia? My rival sensor just activated. Oh. So Brandish gets a nice smile. Glad to see you looking well, Lucy. And I'm glad to see you smile. It looks good on you. So sweet. So I'm sure we'll see Brandish again. It was nice to get that reunion, and it makes sense how they get Gray back to Lucy, right? So over here, again, these two decide not to fight, which if they did fight, it would have been a bloodbath, and Magnolia would have been destroyed, I guess. So they can't fight just yet. Maybe they will later. And again, why do we just see Urza like this, man? I get she's being humiliated by Kyria, and she's the pet, but now she's eating scraps on the floor? I mean, what the hell's going on here? I don't know. That's kind of a jarring scene. So Kyria goes off to bed, and with that, I guess her power doesn't work on Urza anymore because you see she wakes up, rips the leash off her, and it looks like she's going to strike her down, but decides not to because she's asleep. So I don't know. What were those panels for? Were they just to be like, whoever's into dominating or whatever? I don't know. But just kind of out of character for Urza, I suppose. And she comes down and rescues Wendy and Natsu. And then what happens is Brandish uses her powers because she can make things really small or really large. She turns an underground island and makes it emerge and stops the ship. So it also halts their motion sickness. I love the animal. They're all sleeping in their normal outfits. Well, looks like Scullion was awake, but Kyria was asleep and Manball's wearing like his pajamas and his hat. And he gets up. So they're ready to fight back. We get this cool pose. I like this chapter cover too. This was released right around Christmas time. And I just noticed this just now. They're delivering presents on the sleigh, and Natsu has motion sickness because he's on the sleigh. He can't handle it. So we get ready for round 2 with Urza versus Kyria. And she says, I couldn't kill a sleeping opponent. I want to fight you one-on-one. So they start fighting again. And Natsu gets a hit on Scullion. And then it cuts back here to the Fairy Tale Guild, where Toka thanks Loxus for sending Jalal away. But then we get this sinister smirk from Toka. And Gajal's like, what is going on with that? And it starts raining all of a sudden. And then it cuts back over here to some more battles. And Jalal thinking about Urza. As she's talking about her strength and how she can never forgive Kyria. So Toka meets with Jalal. And then it has like the shift. Like you see her eyes, right? It changes. And you get that on the cover too. That's like the good Toka. That's the evil Toka. And says to Jalal, "You are in my way." She probably didn't say it in a voice like that, though. And she reveals that, Fairy Tail is full of all these strong wizards, so she's going to sap away all their powers, and that's that. And starts sucking away Jalal's powers. Your magic is flowing into me. Strong magic produces black, yes, black like Zareth. Before that happens, I shall dye this world white. And just as she's sapping away Jalal's powers, the good Toka takes control again and says, run! You must stop the one within me! So then Gajil shows up and tries to hold her down. And then Jalal's like, oh, she's got a split personality. So, back to the battle at hand. We get some ass shots, some boob shots, the whole 9 yards. And Kyria breaks Urza's blade. And then, it's kind of strange here. She has like this look like, oh, how'd she break my blade? And Kyria's taunting her, I broke your blade. And then she smirks. Aha, I can just forge it anew. This is the dragon-slaying blade Belsarion. And that's named after her mother, of course. So they continue the battles. And then it's cool. We get to see a rematch of Natsu and Mad Mole, who, of course, is the armor dragon. And again, Natsu is like, he gets hit, but he keeps pressing on. Your armor will be pretty damn tough, but can it survive the heat? And he's charging it up even more. And does Fire Dragon King's Purgatory! And defeats Mad Mole. Breaks the armor. There's this giant explosion. Oh my god, it burns off her top. Oh no. And just as that happens, Lucy swoops in and has Gemini produce Celestial Spirit clothes for Wendy. So that's good. And then Gray's back, ready to have his rematch against Scullion. So everyone's just going crazy because Natsu did the Fire Dragon God Purgatory. It's melting off Kyria's clothes, but it's not affecting Urza because she has the Fire Empress armor requip ability. So they're all working off each other because of Natsu's fire powers. It sort of enhances Urza, and they defeat Diabolos. Look how battered and bruised they are in this epic pose of the Fairy Tail heroes. So with that, this guy continues to taunt them like, oh, we have even more powers in our guild. Ha ha ha. But because Mad Mole and Kyria got their asses kicked, he decides to retreat for now and get the other members of Diabolos to face the Fairy Tail Guild members at a later date. So as all this happens, Mercphobia wakes up and has this pain in his head and starts strangling his girl Caramel here and says, run away while you can. And because Lucy was in this little boat, that's all they have. And we have Natsu and Wendy again with the motion sickness. They're all crammed in the boat. And because of that, Happy and Carla decide to get the 2 Dragon Slayers out of the boat so there's more space and they don't have motion sickness. But as they fly out of the boat, they see smoke in the distance, and the whole city is being ravaged by Mercphobia, who has now been transformed into his dragon god form and going berserk because of Toka. Now, here's something that's a bit confusing, maybe on the first read, but Toka basically stole away his ability to use powers. He still has the powers innately in him, but now he's gone berserk. So they're like, what do we do? How do we stop this dragon? And then Caramel shows up, again with an ass shot, of course, and says, you got to stop him, put him out of his misery. And it shows Toka, who appeared in the flashback, who was going to put his powers away. And then, again, back to the Fairy Tail Guild, who are questioning the young girl. And she turns back to her evil form, breaks the restraints, and then starts sucking away the powers of the Fairy Tail Guild. And she says, the lot of you should be dyed white as well. Become my servants here and now. Basically saying that Mercphobia in his berserk dragon form is her servant. So Caramel says to put him out of his misery, because this is not the man that I know. Right? And then Natsu's thinking, about what happened earlier in the first volume, where he's become a peaceful man looking after this town and providing it with water. So they decide to go in there and fight him. Let's go! And here they all go charging in, using their different abilities. Wendy has this ability to give Gray and Lucy dragon-slaying attributes with the guild emblem. Same with Urza. And, you know, how is this going to work? Natsu being a fire dragon slayer. How is fire going to defeat the water dragon god? Well, he's going to try. Fire dragon king's demolishing strike. Ice cannon. Tenrin. Blumblat. Star shot. And they all do their attacks. Wendy sky dragon roar. But it's no match. Great shot. So, back to Toka again. She's sipping her tea. And it shows the entire Fairy Tail Guild defeated. Lying there, all their powers sucked away. Fairy Tail has been dyed white. To be continued. Oh boy, how are they gonna recover from there? And then there's this side story about Lucy getting writer's block. So Natsu finds this crazy guild where they gotta go on this anteater hunt, and that helps Lucy with her writing, and good stuff. So here's another afterword about Kyria for Volume 2. And then this, which I've read the scans of it, Fairy Tail City Hero. Basically, the Fairy Tail Guild become police officers. It's a cute little story. There's no physical release. I wish there was a physical release, but if you like Fairy Tail, check out the scans of it online. It's some good stuff. So overall, you guys already know I love Fairy Tail. It's one of my favorite series. I enjoyed all the returns, like Brandish, and then seeing the standoff with Jalal and Loxus. That was really cool. One thing, and again, I love the sexy babes in Fairy Tail. Don't get me wrong. I love them. But I don't know. It just seemed kind of weird, like what was going on with Urza and Kyria, how she was, you know, her pet. Where is it? Like, she's on all fours. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It was kind of weird. But I guess it's all good, because we got the fight. Yeah, right here. Like, she's my pet. And then, like, it was kind of gross, man. She's eating the dog food or whatever on the ground. But anyway, it was cool to see Brandish again, and good stuff. And, you know, I love Fairy Tail. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Everybody have a great day.